So photography actually began as a science. It used to be people like Fox Talbot who were messing around with chemicals, trying to preserve an image that has its roots right the way back with ancient Greece, with the camera obscura, the dark room into which a small hole bored in the wall would project an upside-down image of the outside world. Now, with the Victorian scientists who were attempting to preserve this light that was incident on the wall within their studios, we moved from being an admiration and a wonder at the world to a science, trying to actually use those chemicals to preserve reality or a semblance of it. Now, photography has gone this way for a lot of years and has become stained by that. The head has taken precedence in a lot of cases. Not all, of course. There are some amazing photographers who weren't impacted in this way, who use the camera in a more artistic way. And one of the first cameras that was able to provide that opportunity for people was the box brownie. You would take the picture and they would do the rest. This has become advanced to the stage that now everybody, more or less, has a smartphone with a camera on it. And it's very easy to take those photographs. And the controls, there are some actually on the iPhone, for example. There's exposure commutation. Majority of people actually don't even know about the exposure commutation on the iPhone. They will just take pictures, snapshots even. Now, with this brings photography back to capturing a semblance of reality, to seeing something, as opposed to the light reflected into the camera, reflected off the subjects and into the camera. And this is well and good, but removing the incident meters and the different types of film, the different ISOs and so on, to rely on the camera to do the majority of the work for you, also blinds you to the process and blinds you to the actual fact that you're not photographing reality. You're never actually capturing things. You're just photographing the light that's reflected off them. You're photographing the light that's being emitted from sources or being reflected from it. It's always a secondary process. Now, all of this gets us into our head, and we want to get out of our head and focus on getting the technique down to such a degree that we can then forget the camera. We can learn enough, and now it's actually not that difficult to learn enough very quickly. When you have the exposure commutation and the white balance down, you can photograph in aperture mode and you can do the majority of photography very, very simply. With a modern camera, it's very easy to take good photographs. Now, we need to focus on the heart. We come from the head and now we're moving into the heart, because it's actually those photographs that have the power to move us that are going to be the most treasured. It's the values that they show, and it's the characters, the emotions, the feelings that they have inside them that can make the photographs really sing. So with this, what we're looking for is photographs even at weddings and at events, certain portraits of people. Generally, the photographs of people are going to be most evocative, and they're going to be the most deeply moving, and people have a great strong gesture to them, and that's going to be when they are already excited, aroused, moved, either up or down. It can be positive or negative emotions, but it's those photographs that move us that are going to be worth taking and are going to be treasured for years to come. So design does have a function. Obviously, the ability to take an aesthetically pleasing photograph is a very powerful one, but it should play second fiddle when you've got it down pat to the content. And by content, I don't mean capturing the things that are around you, but capturing the arrangement of things that can move people to feel, to create those emotions that can really shift one person's emotional state to another, to change their heart as opposed to their mind. And if their mind then follows the heart, well, then that's human nature. So the photographs that you can look at throughout this video and also later on in the galleries by Velázquez, by Caravaggio, even by painters such as Rothko. When you look at the actual colour that he uses and the composition that he uses, you can see again it has a power. Not as powerful as Goya, for example. I would recommend that you look at Goya's dog swimming in a desolate sea for a photograph that has a great powerful emotion to it. But what we're looking to do is use the camera to create art like the great paintings of old that aren't just a semblance, a mimesis of reality, but have the emotional content that is to a degree an invention, subjective seeing of the artist. When you put this artistic feeling into the photographs, you create something stronger, you create something more powerful, and you create something that, by being unique, by being subjective, but standing for the human condition, it can then become something that can move one person strongly or many, many more, because the visual language in photography is something that we can share around the world. We still find dark colours to weigh more than light colours, yellows, for example, and light blues to be happier than the dark, sombre purples and the dark crimsons. So the visual language allows you to create art that can move people emotionally around the world. Think about this shift from head to heart. You focus on mastering the camera, mastering the sense of aesthetics and that visual language so that you can best capture those emotions and feelings that you can empathize with, that you can deepen with your own experience and then share with others to change their lives. Think about heart as well as head in your photography.